is Paul Bernhardt?
Paul is first and foremost a person of integrity.
He's completely and totally original.
Paul is not only talented and creative, he's also ingenious.
He's not very good on a dribble. He can't shoot. He can't defend. But he can really teach, and he has a passion for helping kids.
I'm just hanging out here amidst the stinging tentacles of my close personal friend, Sideshow Emily, the sea anemone.
Well, 5 years ago, I set out to create a great children's television program because I felt like, why couldn't a program be fun and entertaining and yet still have educational content?
Category 4 brings flooding and heavy damage to buildings! Ah!
What very much impressed me was the ability that Paul had to take a technical subject and really make it come alive.
The chocolate coating represents a continental plate. The chewy caramel represents the mantle of the earth. Disregard the nuts.
There wasn't very much that I could speak of that he didn't know something about.
So what you hear from Paul Bernhardt is authentic science.
I am heating up different mixtures of lead, mercury, and sulfur in this very strong acid.
My favorite one was Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age. Ooga, ooga, ooga.
This just in. In heavy fighting today, the hunters clashed with a large woolly mammoth not far from our studios. Let's go to our reporter, on the scene.
Thanks, Wooly. Unfortunately, the hunters were unable to bring down the mammoth, but they did manage to nab a caribou instead.
Paul will always look at teaching something as, can I make a character? Can I give it more personality?
I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, beaming energy down into your pathetic little world.
You may call it silly, but you can look at that's an effective way of teaching science.
Magnets with dipoles repel each other.
Based on my experience with youngsters, they like it. And I think the most important thing is to get them interested in the subject.
Like this.
What happened?
I really don't enjoy acting.
He's the perfect ensemble member. He is able to make the most outrageous, crazy, out there, outlandish choices and still maintain a complete sense of truth and believability, and at the same time have the audience literally falling out of their chairs. He's, you know, a comic genius. He really is.
The greatest thing about Paul is his sense of humor.
He's funny. He's funny. 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 He's a funny.
He's between good teacher, funny, and crazy.
Sorry, Wooly, but it looks like this cold will be with us for at least a few more thousand years.
Paul is what we would call the excellent teacher.
I have a child's sensitivities, which maybe that's a special talent or maybe it's some kind of a disorder.
He's a good teacher. I learned something.
I think kids appreciate not being talked down to. They appreciate just being like, here's the way it is, you know?
Every time he says, yeah, I jump from my seat.
Yahoo!
What? What was that?
You are going to learn something you didn't know before because he's done something you haven't done.
He is a modern-day Renaissance man.
I, too, would like to be like Indiana Jones.
I haven't just read things, I've done things, and it's brought a lot to the show. So, say I want to talk about atomic power. Well, I've trained on nuclear subs in the Navy.
Still needs a haircut.
Or say I want to talk about different cultures around the world. Well, I've had adventures exploring every continent. I've even had a career as a game show contestant, and the weird thing about it is I'm always teamed up with Stuart Pankin.
It's like the guy stalking me or something.
The more esoteric the concept, the stranger the location, the harder the idea is to teach, the more interesting things Paul will come up with.
Well, I wouldn't build a basketball team around him, but I would build a TV team around him. I would build an education team around him.
I've done a lot with children's TV, and with this show, there's absolutely no boundaries what we can do, and that's exciting.
I know that when his show is on the air, my kids will be viewers, and so will I.
Houston, do you think I can get a ride back to Earth?